Hey Diane, it's Jim. I hope you're well. Hope you're having a really great Monday. I want to make you a video, and when I make these, I really like to shoot from the hip and just kind of give you information right as I see it, so it's less filtered and more genuine, even if that does come across as a little bit, you know, rough around the edges, I guess you could say. So first of all, it's huge that you're doing so much. I mean, $100,000 in the second quarter, that is insane. Way to go. That's huge volume. And when I make the videos also, sometimes I have a lot of information to share. Some people have brand new sites and they need to do some major changes to the sites. And other times it's smaller details, like little nuanced things that people that are further along in the process need help with. So yeah, anyway, so let me just give you some impressions here. My first thought is that I love this logo. I really like this. So the area of your page before the fold, meaning what you can see on my screen currently before I have to scroll, is the most critical real estate that there is. So in this amount of time, in this area, you have just a few seconds to capture people's attention. When someone comes to your site, the first question they're going to ask, or that they do ask, is this site for me? Is it for me? The first question is, what is the site about? The second question is it for me? So they need to be able to know immediately what your site is about. What do you do? What do you do here? What is Little Miss Marmalade all about? And then the second question is this for me? If they can't answer those questions within a few seconds, they'll bounce. And one thing that I recommend you look at if you're not familiar already is your Google Analytics. Look at your bounce rate. How long are people spending on your site? Are they bouncing after just a few seconds? And then also, do they tend to look at multiple pages on your site? If they just look at one and then bounce, or bounce within just a few seconds, or if you have many users, a high percentage bouncing in a few seconds, and that points to problems that need to be remedied. So the first thing I'm noticing here is that I like the color scheme. I love the logo. I think that's really, really classy looking and just cute. Like, it matches your brand. But there's too much white space here. There's just wasted area. This real estate is so valuable, and this area is just wasted. So I would figure out a way to decrease the padding, or just kind of redesign this slightly so it's more like, this, or even just, where basically you can get this full image in, right? So maybe you need to make it a little bit smaller and somehow fix this to get it all in. But I also am a big fan of taglines. So, think about, like, what if you boil down to a really concise statement about what you sell? What is that? Maybe it's this: vintage inspired dresses for children, right? Vintage inspired dresses for little girls. If that's what it is, then put that here. So they see Little Miss Marmalade, vintage inspired dresses for girls, or something like that. That's great. And these images are really high quality. So that definitely is, capturing your brand and what you do. But the copy, the verbiage is really important as well. You need both of those because it leaves nothing to the imagination. And I know it seems elementary, but you've got to indicate what it is that you do. Okay. Yeah, so these are great. Like, the images are really, really high quality. So you're doing really well with those. Really well. Okay, so let's scroll down. Yeah, and that's good. I mean, you just need to capture this higher so they don't have to scroll to see it. Let me read this. Yeah, this is good, but watch this. So I'm not going to move my screen myself. Just watch what happens here in a second. See how that moves? As the images roll above, because they're different sizes, it moves the text, and that's really frustrating for someone to try to read this. And it just, first of all, it's difficult enough to get people to read from your website. People's attention span is so short, and most people won't read. And when they start to, if it's interrupted because of that moving image changing the way the screen's laid out, they'll just move on. So I would fix that issue, and I would also make this text a bit larger, so it's just a little bit easier to read. So a couple points bigger on the font. And then again, you've got too much white space here, so I would tighten this up and bring this forward. Your photography is great. That is absolutely top notch. Really cute dresses, and the photography is exceptional. So I would definitely accentuate that. News, and this just seems empty. So if there's nothing here, I would just get rid of it, so it doesn't take place on your site. Okay, so let me click on one of these specific areas here. Vintage inspired cotton girls dresses. Okay. So let's just click on a specific image. $38. Wow, that's cheap. These are perfect. Okay. Yeah, so you have the sizes, really cute picture, good, really high quality photography. This is good. So I would encourage more copy here, more words, and think about the emotions that sell. What are the emotional words that parents, mothers are buying this, right? They're your target market. What are they feeling? So if you have a little girl, think about what you feel when you buy her clothes. Like my wife loves to shop for my girls. She loves to shop for them, and I know that there's a certain emotion there. And my other female family members, my adult female family members, love to shop for the kids too. There's something about that that's there. Figure out what that is, capture those emotions, and then include those, articulate those emotions in your sales copy. That'll make a big difference. Okay, and another thing, having reviews is critical. If you have reviews on these, like the more reviews you have, the more likely you're going to sell them, especially reviews on this page. People want to see that other people have bought these dresses and are enjoying them, that they're good quality, that they love them, and all those things. So having that visible on this page is important. Okay, so let's go to About Us. So just before I read this, Diane, my first thought is, people do business with people, not with brands or companies. People want to make a connection. And if you have an image of yourself, especially a high quality face shot, smiling, happy, no sunglasses, like that builds trust. It builds, having trust on your site implies that you're going to stand behind what you do, that there's a person behind this, not just some random website. So I'm going to read this in a second, but if you first have that image, that's the first thing you're going to see, and have the text wrapped around the image. That's going to go a long way in building trust and increasing conversions on your site. And also, I would make this bigger, the text, just again, a couple points bigger. Let me read what you got here. Interesting, Diane, is almost, so on every site that I review, in almost all cases, I find a little nugget on the About page that is like hidden and not focused on in the main part of the website. So, okay, let me find it again. Right here. Little Miss Marmalade has its own fabric designs that are completely unique and one of a kind. You will not find these anywhere else. That's huge. We all want to feel special and unique, and especially our children. So the fact that you I know they're made, overseas or whatever, with people that you work with, but the fact that you design these and that they are unique, in other words, you're not going to find these at Target or JCPenney or on Amazon or whatever, that goes a long way to build that uniqueness and increase your conversions, because people just like that sort of thing. And this, like you can look at your Google Analytics, see how many people actually go to this page, see how much time they spend on this page. I can almost bet you that people are not seeing this. Like a very, very small percentage of the people that are on your site are reading what I have highlighted on the screen right now. And that's so critical. I would focus on this on the main part of your site, even before the fold on your homepage. This is critical. Work that into that concise statement that I said about what you're about. This is just big. This is important to what you do. This is the essence of your brand, and that has to be focused on. It has to be brought to the forefront because it's going to help you sell. Okay. So a couple things. I would consider putting a chat widget here, especially if you're on your site. Not on your site, but if you're on the internet during the day. I get it if you're not available to do that, but if you're at all available, having a little chat widget where they can talk to you live if you're online, or they can leave a message if you're not. People have come to expect that, and that can really help with conversions because they can get questions answered immediately. So I'd recommend getting set up with that for sure. Okay, and then you can also just have a little contact us. Well, you probably do. Let me see. What I was going to say is a little contact us page. People expect to see that too, and I don't actually see one. So I would build out a simple page that just says contact us, where they can get a hold of you, a little form on your website or something like that. Because again, people expect to see that as well. So, okay, give me 1 second here. One more thing I wanted to point out, and I don't know if I mentioned it to you or if it's been somebody else. I've made a few videos today, but the most valuable commodity is the attention that you have from other people. When they enter your site, they're giving you a gift of their attention. And the only way that you can captivate that attention again on your terms is if you have a way to get a hold of them, like an email address. If you don't, when they leave, they're gone. If you have an email address, you're able to capture their attention again and follow up with them, offer a coupon, or market to them. So let me point something else out real quick. My site is GrooveJar. If you go to blog.groovejar.com, click on this very first one here, how to boost your conversion rate with killer first impression. So in this, I wrote this post and I went through a lot of just a really deep dive on how to make a strong first impression and how that makes a difference in your conversions. And I shared several really good examples and then several really bad examples of websites and how to optimize for conversions. So one thing I really recommend is that you have a tool to collect email addresses. My company, GrooveJar, has a tool called Groove Urgent that is a countdown timer. It pops up on your site. We can match colors to your site. It collects email addresses, and then we can market to those email addresses. So whether you use my company, another good one is SumoMe, another one is Privy. Regardless of who you use, do something to collect email addresses on your site so you can market to those and get that attention back. So that alone, especially if you have a lot of traffic, which I'm guessing you do if you do $100,000 in a quarter, the more traffic you have, the more successful you'll be with that. Because you're able to recapture that attention and ultimately increase your conversions and revenue in a really big way by doing that. So by not doing that right now, you're missing a huge chunk of revenue that you could be collecting. So, okay, that's it. Diane, I want to be respectful of your time and not make this video too long. Please let me know if you have any specific questions or want to take a deeper dive into any certain topics. Take care.